There you go, you're recording, I think.
My name is Nick Turinsky. I've been living with Lyme disease for 14 years of my life. I diagnosed myself 1 year ago. The purpose of this video is to tell you about the positive things I've learned from my disease. I diagnosed myself a year ago, like I said. I've been living with it 13 years, and it's a very hard road, but there are very many positive things you can take from it. Just a short story about my past. My mom was a schizophrenic when I was 14 years old, and this basically spun my life out of control. I was self-destructive and using alcohol to cope with her mental illness. So basically I turned a negative into a negative. Through Lyme disease, I've learned that energy cannot just be dissipated. It has to be channeled. And with Lyme disease, I've learned it's one of the biggest negatives in my life. I've learned to turn it into a positive. I've used my downtime to reflect and look back upon my life and work on my weaknesses and deal with my mental issues. Lyme disease has drastically changed my perspective on the world, and I appreciate every day that I'm alive. I think not everyone has an extreme circumstance such as mine with a troubled past and drinking and stuff, but I think every person has something that they can work on, and Lyme disease actually gives you a chance to take a step back from the frantic pace of life. And basically, you know, if you're bedridden, I feel for you on that. I've been bedridden for 2 days myself. I've been on a walker for 5 months, but as I've learned, the energy cannot dissipate. You just have to learn how to channel it. So I had 13 or 14 years of anger and sadness built up. Everyone told me I should feel happy when I learned about my diagnosis. At first it was very overwhelming, but now I've been using all that energy and anger to invoke positive change in the world. I first started I made my own t-shirts, and I really do believe that anyone who has Lyme disease, whether they want to admit it or not, they are fighting a war against the disease. And when you're in a war, you can either be a victim or a warrior. I choose to be a warrior, and for me that means not allowing the disease to take over my life and trying to make a positive change for the future. I'm doing that with my t-shirts and trying to spread awareness to the rest of the people about Lyme disease and what it can do to a body, a mind, a spirit, and soul. Because in the end, in the long run, we all come down to our spirit and our soul. So I know many of you may be facing really hard times right now, but remember, it's your spirit and soul that will live on forever, not your body. When your obituary will not say how much money you own, how many cars you had, but what impression you left on this earth. So even though right now Lyme disease has you bedridden, has taken away a lot of stuff, you still have your spirit and your soul, and I just really want to encourage you to fight and be proactive and be a warrior. If you're laying in bed, bedridden, I know that's a hard place to be. Maybe you can start drawing or write letters to a senator. For me, I was an athlete my whole life, and then there was nothing, I thought there was nothing worse in the world than having my legs taken away from me. But it's been the opposite. It's been a blessing in disguise. It has taught me so much about life, and it has made me self-cultivate so much faster than I would have without this disease. So as it is a negative, it's also a positive. And I just really want people, every video I've seen on YouTube just talks about only the negative, and it's how you see it. Turn that energy into a positive, fight for yourself, realize that your soul and your spirit deserves to be well, and if you keep at it, you will win the war. And like I said, I've created some t-shirts. I would hope that maybe some of you could take some inspiration from these t-shirts, or just spread the word. And the main point is, I want people just to keep living their lives. I know it's hard. I'm not trying to downplay the sickness at all, but I really believe there can be a gift of illness if you can see it that way. You can take, you know, most people work 60 hours a week. They don't even have any free time. They have kids. You know, use this as a moment to work on yourself, self-cultivate yourself. Learn every day. You learn something new. If you haven't drawn before, take up art. If you learn something new, just don't let it take away your soul and your spirit. And like I said, if you are fighting Lyme disease, it's a war, and you can either be a victim and a warrior, and I really encourage you to be a warrior. And if you need some extra support or inspiration, feel free to contact me. I believe these shirts could help you out, and if not, like I said, I wish everyone the best who's fighting Lyme disease. And I just really want them to know that it's a long haul, but if you see it in the right light, it can be one of the most positive experiences in your life, and you can raise your consciousness and become a better person in the end. And like I said, anyone out there fighting Lyme disease, I feel for you, and I'm with you in spirit. Thank you.
Nice, dude. Want to stand up now too, so we can get a shot of the shirt better? Perfect.
I'm gonna try to light it up a little bit too. Yeah. Nice, man.
So I mean,